In this video, let us look on what is regression analysis. Regression analysis is basically a mathematical tool with the help of which we can predict the value of unknown variable with the help of the known variable on the basis of average relationship. Let me explain this with the help of an example. Here we have got a table which represents the data, amount of fertilizers and the yield. So if we know that these two variables are correlated, and then we can, with the help of regression analysis, we can estimate if the amount of fertilizers is 100 kilograms used, then what may be the yield. Similarly, I can also estimate if the yield is 70 kilograms, then what may be the fertilizer used. So basically, we can predict the value of unknown variable with the help of the known variable. So this is the principle of regression analysis, and this is calculated based on the average relationship. So to calculate this or to predict this unknown variable, we use the help of the regression lines. There are two regression lines which are called as regression line x on y and the regression line on y on x. When I say a regression line on x on y, here there are two variables x and y, and then when we say regression line x on y, that means here we consider y as the independent variable and x as the dependent variable. X is dependent on y. So when we want to predict for the value of known variable y, so suppose if I know y is equal to 50 and I want to predict what may be the value of x. In such cases, I can use the help of regression line x on y. And the regression line y on x can be used when I know x as equal to, so for example, I know x as equal to 80 and then I want to predict what may be the y value corresponding to this x value as 80. So in such cases, I can use regression line y on x. So in the regression line y on x, x is considered as the independent variable and y is the dependent variable. Y is dependent on x. Corresponding to both the regression line x on y, y on x, we have a regression line equation. So regression line x on y is given by x minus x bar is equal to bxy into y minus y bar. Here x is the variable we have considered and x bar is the mean of the variable x and y is the variable considered, which is the independent variable, and y bar is the mean of the variable y. So here bxy is said to be a regression coefficient. Similarly, regression line y on x is given by the formula y minus y bar is equal to byx multiplied with x minus x bar. Here y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable, and byx is the regression coefficient and y bar is the mean of the variable y and x bar is the mean of the variable x. So here bxy and byx are called as regression coefficients and can be calculated by using the formula r into sigma x by sigma y. Here what is sigma x? Sigma x is the standard deviation of the variable x and sigma y is the standard deviation of the variable y. So we can use r into sigma x by sigma y, that is by using the standard deviation concepts. Otherwise, we can also use the formula bxy is equal to n into total of xy minus of total x into total y divided by n into total of y square minus total of y whole square to calculate regression coefficient bxy. Similarly, byx also can be calculated by using this formula. So here bxy and byx are the regression coefficient, and the square root of bxy and byx will be equal to the correlation coefficient r. Let us consider one example here to understand about the regression analysis. Here we have age of cars represented in years and maintenance cost is considered in 100 rupees. So when the age of the car is 2 years, the maintenance cost is 1000 rupees. When the age of the car is 4 years, the maintenance cost is estimated to be 2000. When the age of the car is 6 years, the maintenance cost is estimated to be 2500. Similarly, when the age of the car is 8 years, the maintenance cost is 3000. So here we want to know what would be the cost of maintenance given that the car is 5 years old. We know that the car is 5-year old and we want to estimate what would be the maintenance cost. So here let us represent age of the car as X and maintenance cost as Y. So in this problem, we want to obtain the two regression equation, and we also want to calculate if the age of the car is 5 years. That means here I have taken variable X represents age of the car. So we want to see if the age of the car is 5 years, then what would be the maintenance cost? That means what is the value of Y? What is the maintenance cost? So here we know the X value. We want to estimate what is Y. In such cases, we can use regression line Y on X. As I told here, X is the independent variable and Y is dependent on X. So when we want to estimate for known value of X, what is the value of Y, then we can use the regression line Y on X. But first, we shall see both the regression line equation X on Y and Y on X. In order to find that, so let us calculate X square value, let us find Y square value, and also X into Y, which will give X in Y. So X square, so we know that 2 square is 4, 4 square is 16, 6 square is 36, and 8 square is 64. So when we add up all this data, we get the total as equal to 120. So now let us find Y square. So total Y square, so 10 square is 100, 20 square is 400, 25 square is 625, and 30 square is 900. So if you add all this data, so total of Y square will be 2025. Similarly, let us see X into Y. That means multiply 2 with 10, we get as 20. Multiply 4 with 20, we get 80. Multiply 6 with the 25, we get 150. Similarly, multiply 8 with 30, we get it as 240. So adding up all this data, we get the total as equal to 490. Now find total X bar. X bar is the mean for the variable X. So average X bar is given by total of X divided by N. So total of X is 20 and N is the number of data considered. So we have considered 4 data. So N is equal to 4. So the average, so X bar is 5 years. So similarly, let us find Y bar. Y bar is the mean for the variable Y data. So Y bar is total of Y divided by N. So total of Y is 85 and similarly number of data considered as 4 here. Therefore, we will be getting 21.2500. So now regression line X on Y is given by the formula X minus X bar is equal to BXY into Y minus Y bar. So regression line Y on X is given by Y minus Y bar is equal to BYX multiplied with X minus X bar. To find the regression line here, we have to calculate the regression coefficient bxy and the byx. So bxy is given by the formula n into total of xy minus of total of x into total of y divided by n into total of y square minus of total of y whole square. So substituting all the calculated values, we get bxy as 0.297. Similarly, substituting all the values in byx formula, we get it as 3.25. So bxy and byx are the two regression coefficients. So substituting that in the regression line x on y, we get regression line x on y as x is equal to 0.297 multiplied with y minus 1.31. Similarly, substituting all the calculated values in the regression line y on x, we get the regression line y on x as y is equal to 3.25 multiplied with x plus 5. So now we know that the x value is equal to 5. That means if the age of the car is 5 years, then what is the maintenance cost? That means we know x, we want to find what is the value of y. So hence substitute that in the regression line y on x. So substituting, we get y value or the maintenance cost as 21.2500 rupees. So in this way, we can estimate the unknown value with the help of known variable value through the regression analysis concept.